Hi, this is Jeff with MCAD Technologies, and today I'm going to talk about what's new in SolidWorks Enterprise PDM 2014. SolidWorks ePDM 2014 continues to add new and helpful functionality to streamline your design and ensure that you're always working with the most up-to-date information. This year there was a focus on a couple of things. One was flexible cache management, and the other was an improved user experience. Let's take a look at see what these things look like in ePDM. So first, there's a new option for users and groups to manage the local cache. This allows the cache to automatically be refreshed during login or cleared during logout. It can be set for specific folders, and it's recursive into subfolders. This is important for users who have certain templates or library items that always need to be at the latest revision, or for administrators who want to make sure that users who are not attached to the network don't have sensitive files on their computers. There's also a new checkbox in the reference node of the settings dialog called Enable the Get Version command in SolidWorks add-in. This is for people who want to always work with the latest version of files, but want to have the option to get an older version. This is useful if you want to make sure that anything you checked out has the most up-to-date versions, but you still want to have the option to get an older version to do comparison or just for reference. Let's go ahead and log into the Vault and see some things in there. First of all, you'll see that when I log in, SolidWorks is now getting those files in the folders that I specified in the cache options. So I'm going to have all the latest information for these order toolbox files. So when I start my work, I've got all the up-to-date information no matter who's changed it. Now that my cache is up to date, let's take a look at an assembly, and specifically the Contains tab for this assembly. So one of the big changes this year is I can now customize the way this dialog looks. For example, I could add a description column or a column for any other variable that I choose. Then I can move this around to where it's most convenient for me. This is nice, especially if, like my Vault, files are named by number and I need a description so I can see more useful information. You can also collapse and expand subassemblies, and there's this tool to show all levels or to show top levels only. Now let's take a look at the checkout dialog. This assembly is already open in SolidWorks, but we can still look at the dialog to see some of the new functionality. So we still see the ability to expand and collapse assemblies. Again, we could add variable columns and move these columns to what makes sense for us. But what's new in this dialog box is the Show References Selection Controls, also known as the Parent Node checkbox. With this activated, I can select an entire subassembly with its components all at once, instead of having to do each one at a time. There's also this tool to scroll through the various warnings that may show up when you're doing a check-in. This will go from one warning to the next and also traverse into any collapsed subassemblies. This is useful if you have a large assembly that may have a number of warnings and be able to jump between them all. This file, as I said, is already open in SolidWorks, so it's got quite a number of warnings. Let's actually go look at it in SolidWorks and see what's new in the SolidWorks add-in. First thing we'll see is this new reference version column. This shows the version of the file that was checked in when the assembly was checked in. When I expand this subassembly, I'll see that the version of this file that was checked in with the assembly was version 3 of 4. But currently I have version 4 of 4 on my machine. So I can get that quick comparison just by looking at that reference version column. The Quick Child Info column also lets me know that the reference file is an older version. Since I checked in this assembly with version 3 of 4, Maybe I'd prefer to go back and get that version while I'm working on this assembly. If I do that, as we expect, we'll get a warning that says this is an older file, and that warning will show up at every parent level in the assembly tree. This way you can see it quickly as soon as you open the assembly. Another addition is in the Change State dialog, where a filter tool has been added to the Dynamic Notifications list. This way you can easily narrow down your list of recipients if you have a lot of names in that dynamic selection list. Also available in ePDM 2014 is the Office Integration tool. So now ePDM users can use all the same flexible workflow features they're used to using with SolidWorks files, but they can do it right inside of Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, and Excel. And the add-in enables all those features to be used without leaving the application. From within your Office application, you can check in, check out. You can keep changes to a checked-in file. You can access older versions. You can get direct access to the data card. You can change the state, and you can use the search tool. So that's what's new in Enterprise PDM 2014.